Hey everyone, Chaos here, coming at you with a live stream. Yes sir, yes sir. How many ideas have you had, Tyrion? Fair warning, I can't exactly... Ah, that's unfortunate. I gotta wait another hour before my daily stuff is, Several ideas! Most of them being bad. That's kind of what I expected, actually. Okay. Let me think. What's a good matchup? Yeah, go with that for now. Why not? Get the ring rust off and what have you. Want to make sure Scatsy's actually able to make it for a start with my review of Wrestlemania. Since I know Scats was planning on joining on in. I do believe they are in now, actually. Alright, so with Slim being here...
Round one.
Gotta go over, that fucking weekend. Well... we should probably start with WrestleMania weekend the way it started on Friday. At this point, I think going in order is probably best. So, first things first.
Victory.
I hate that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal has been turned into a fucking joke. First off, they put it on fucking SmackDown instead of actual WrestleMania. Second off, most of the competitors in that match were tag teams. Or guys that... yeah, but, okay. The first few years, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal actually meant something. Like, let's be real. When Cesaro won it, it meant something. When Big Show won it, meant something. I dare even say the year Corbin won it, it actually meant something. But who do we have winning it this year? Madcap Moss. You could have had Finn Balor winning it, but instead, you pick a guy whose entire gimmick is being Happy Corbin's flunky and telling fucking terrible dad jokes. I mean, yes, history has taught us that the winner of the Battle Royal really doesn't get much, because they've either been A, established, or B, they have a small run, like Corbin and Cesaro did, and then once the nostalgia wears off, yes, Madcap Moss's whole gimmick is one big dad joke. And yeah, Finn Balor not being on the card for Mania, which I will get to that, when he is the current United States champion, is a fucking disgrace. They had every other title for both nights of WrestleMania, except for the Intercontinental and the US title, and both titles got relegated to the goddamn SmackDown. Oh, we'll get to that. We will get to Logan Paul. We'll get to that. But I'm going in order. So, and I'm giving each thing a rating.
Round one.
So, starting with the Memorial Battle Royal, and my rating system is 1 to 5. Oh, we'll get to that. Just hold on. Because he went toe-to-toe with Floyd Mayweather, and Mayweather didn't knock his ass out. That's how he's still relevant. But we will get to that. In the Andre Battle Royal, I label that a 1-star match. Matter of fact, I label that half a star. Because out of all the people in that fucking match... No, the reason I'm knocking off, like... The reason I'm knocking off 2.5 points, Slim, is because of who they had winning it. It was decent, but Madcap winning it was bullshit. Now, moving on to another match they had on SmackDown, which they even labeled like the warm-up to WrestleMania, the pre-show to WrestleMania, if you will. And I'll get to that in a fucking minute, or in a few minutes too. With Ricochet versus the Lotharios, Humberto and Garza. Ricochet won the match. He kept his title. And I dare say that match was 4.5 out of 5. Because... Now, hold on. Hold on, Tim. You're jumping ahead of me here. But what I'm saying is... Ricochet versus Humberto Carrillo versus Angel Garza, triple threat match for the Intercontinental title, was excellent. And in my opinion, like the way Ricochet ended it with a 630 senton leading into like a single knee face buster, like if I remember correctly, he hit Garza with the 630 senton, and then Carrillo with the single knee facebuster. Either way, it was an excellent fucking match, in my opinion. That's why, for me, it gets a 4.5 out of 5. Because hell, that finish alone was fucking beautiful.
Round one.
Let's see. Moving on to the Hall of Fame, which took place Friday night. I would like to preface by saying, does WWE really need to, like, just hammer the Hall of Fame into the fucking ground? Because, I'll be honest, by the time we got to today, I was sick of hearing about the Hall of Fame. I really was. I was tired of that shit. They promoted it way too much after the fact. But, you know, I'm happy with who got inducted. Sort of.
Round 2.
First inductees were the Steiner brothers. I'll be honest, never thought Scott Steiner was going to get inducted when he pretty much stated on a flight that he hoped that Stephanie McMahon got raped and murdered. But that's wrestling for you, I guess. At least, if I remember correctly, that's what Steiner said, or Scott said. I know there was one flight where he essentially badmouthed Stephanie and I believe Triple H, like, really bad. So, overall, yeah, they had a few fun moments with that. The Steiners were inducted by Rick's son, who goes by Braun Breaker in NXT, which is a stupid fucking ring name, but I've heard worse, which I'll get to that later.
Victory.
But, they made a joke, I believe Scott made the joke of giving him a live mic. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Which is pretty funny when you consider the history of Scott Steiner in general. Ah. Interesting. I mean, that's interesting origin for a ring name for sure, but I don't know if I fucks with it as much. Oh yeah, it definitely sounds dumb. Like, that's without question. After that, they inducted Queen Sharmell. Yeah, true. But he could also be towing the company line, too. Because that could be one of those things that because he's employed by the company, he doesn't want to talk shit about the company. You know what I'm saying? But after the Steiners got inducted, and Scott talked for most of the fucking time, next we had Queen Sharmell getting inducted. Yeah, that's how the business works. You either take what the boss hands you. Yeah. Like I said, the best part of that is, yes, moving past the Steiner brothers, Queen Sharmell, who, in my opinion, was part of the best part of Booker T's WWE career. I love Booker T and Goldust, but for me, King Booker was by far the best part of his WWE career. And Sharmell sold it. Yes. Charmel is what sold the King Booker gimmick. I don't think it would have worked without her. And then, let's not forget, King Booker's court, Finlay, and William Regal. Like, it was just goodness all the way around, man. It really was. Yeah, no. Like, Booker took the King of the Ring title and ran with that shit. There's very few people that have successfully done that. Booker was one of them. I can definitely say that. Matter of fact, I will go out on the limb and say Booker has been the best King of the Ring we have ever had. And that's going up against every other wrestler that's ever won King of the Ring. No one did it better than Booker, because nobody rocked that King gimmick. Out of the wrestlers that did do the King gimmick, nobody did it than Booker T. Or did it better than Booker T. And I defy anybody to tell me different. So, on a sadder note, after that, they awarded the Warrior Award to Shad Gaspard, formerly one half of Crime Time in WWE. I say sadly because they awarded it to him for essentially yeah, Terry, you just like to be a little shit, my guy. I see you. I see you. Honestly, I'm deciding who to pick next to fight with, because I've used the Pirate a little bit. I kind of want to showcase more things for the live stream. Just needing to decide on who. Well, I could try out the new Ramiel skin I got for the Warden. But, oh! That's what I was going to say. Kanabo? Okay, before I continue with the review, there are 5 factions that I can use. Do you want the Knights, the Vikings, the Samurai, the Wulin, and I've already shown some fighting skill with the Pirate and the Outlanders. Oh, we got Samurais versus Vikings here. Samurai got outvoted, sadly. Happens. Happens. But anyways, back to Shad. The tragedy of the situation with Shad was he got inducted into, or he got the Warrior Award for essentially sacrificing his own life to save the life of his son. An admirable thing, and I'll be honest, that's definitely something a good father would do in that moment, in that situation. It was just a very sad moment, because they showed like the connection between Shad and his son in like a video package prior to him getting the award, and it was heartbreaking. I'm gonna be honest. There was a part of that video package where it was like, I love you, Daddy. I love you, son. And yeah, by the end of it, it was heartbreaking knowing that Shad sacrificed everything to keep his son alive. So the Warrior Award definitely deserved, in my opinion, at least.
Victory.
And yeah, I really can't say much about it other than it was really fucking heartbreaking. It was nice to see JTG back, even if it was for just one night. Because Crime Time was one of my favorite tag teams that, in my opinion, did not get their due, which was really sad. Outside of that, yeah, I'll move on. They put Vader in the Hall of Fame. Now he was, the Hall of Fame induction was accepted on behalf of his wife and his son, as sadly Vader did pass away a few years back. As a matter of fact, I do have a live stream on this very channel where I played a Royal Rumble match where I was playing as Vader to honor his memory. Started number 1, I believe. I ended up winning the whole damn thing. So if you want to check that out, see if I'm lying or not, go search for some of my wrestling-themed live streams. It's there somewhere. And then the Hall of Fame ended with Undertaker's induction. Long overdue, if you ask me. But yeah, it was pretty fun. We actually got to hear Undertaker talk and make jokes, which is not typical Taker. So that was definitely a nice side to see of Taker. Yeah, I really don't have too much to criticize about the Hall of Fame, oddly enough. So, moving on.
Round 2.
Saturday morning at well, for me it was 11 in the morning. They had NXT Stand and Deliver, which was essentially and yes, you watched that execution correctly. I just kicked somebody in the balls before chopping off their head. Well, kicking him in the crotch, because I'm pretty sure that's a female fighter.
Round 3.
Anyways. NXT Stand and Deliver, well, the kickoff show started at like 11 my time. They had one match on the pre-show, which was Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai versus Toxic Attraction for the NXT Women Tag Team titles. Yes. Basically, Toxic Attraction, from my understanding of the match setup, Toxic Attraction had boasted about how they had beaten every female tag team in WWE. Or in NXT, at the very least. So, when they were attacking, I want to say Dakota Kai, if memory serves, we had the return of Raquel Gonzalez, who saved Dakota Kai from the attack, and the two reunited. They essentially reunited after after they split up, I want to say about a year or so ago. But anyways, so they reunited to take on Toxic Attraction. Toxic Attraction lost the titles, and I shit you not,
Victory.
Toxic Attraction lost the titles to Raquel and Dakota after a female wrestler dressed in pajamas, carrying a pillow and a sippy cup, or at least a cup with a straw in it, came to the ring, threw her orange-colored drink in the face of one of them, and then her partner essentially got, well, her partner ate the pin, or ate the finisher from Raquel. So Raquel, Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai are your new NXT Women Champions. Seeing the two reunite was kind of a satisfying moment, and overall the match wasn't terrible. So... ooh. Yeesh.
Victory.
So, I would say overall, it was a pretty decent match. I'd give it a solid... if it wasn't for that ridiculous interference, I'd probably mark it a little higher, but I'll give it a solid 3 out of 5. It was a good match. But, yes, it very much looked painful. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Moving on to the next match, we had... oh, keep in mind, I want to preface this by saying that was on the pre-show for Stand and Deliver. Not even the main show. That was the pre-show. I'll get to why I'm pointing that out later. The next match on the card was a Fatal 5-Way ladder match for the North American Championship. You had Carmelo Hayes defending against Cameron Grimes, Grayson Waller, Santos Escobar, the leader of Legado del Fantasma, and Solo Sikoa. It was a ladder match, so it was pretty good. Not really much I can say bad about it.
Victory.
Yeah, matter of fact, there was quite a few spots I remember from the ladder match that were pretty good. That moron Waller damn near killed himself at one point because he landed on the ladder in a very horrible fashion. I'm pretty sure he busted his elbow and his ass because he didn't even hit anybody.
Victory.
But Cameron Grimes ended up winning the match, and it was his first, to my understanding, it was Cameron's first title in NXT. So, in my opinion, the right person won. I do have one criticism for the match, and it was for the fact that they started doing the entrances towards the tail end of the pre-show. And by the time the pay-per-view in earnest actually got started, Solo Sikoa was already in the ring. As such, I gotta demote some points just because it shows how much they value Solo Sikoa as a competitor when they don't even broadcast his fucking entrance. And that's sad when you consider Solo potentially could be somebody that they want to move up to the main roster in a few years. I say that because Solo is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso. And he's definitely one to watch. In my opinion, one of the main highlights of that match was seeing Solo doing the old school Umaga hip attack in the corner, honoring his Uncle Umaga, and slamming a ladder into an opponent's face while they were stuck in the corner.
Round one.
So, because they didn't even do all the entrances for the match, or at least broadcast all the matches, I gotta give that one a 3.5. Yes, ass ladder. Like, you had one of the opponents essentially in the corner. The ladder was set up in front of him because another wrestler had been attacking him, essentially. And then next thing you know, Sikoa does a fucking hip attack, slamming the ladder into the face of the guy in the corner. Yes, very much so.
Victory.
Ha! You thought you could get me with that fucking kick? All you did was catch death, bitch! Anyways.
Round three.
Can't help it. Some of these fights get me pumped. Also, I've been drinking a little bit. I'll go on about that in a moment. You know, your fancy kick didn't work last time, it ain't working this time either.
Victory.
But either way, I label it a 3.5 in terms of a match. Next up, you had Tony D'Angelo versus Tommaso Ciampa. Tony D'Angelo won in what is essentially, I'm guessing, based on the way they set the whole match up, it's Tommaso Ciampa's last match in NXT. Which kinda sucks. Because of all the people Tommaso could have lost to in his final match, he lost to the guy that is essentially an Italian stereotype who, quote, and I'm quoting here, wants to be the Dawn of NXT. Yeah. So this was his final match, basically. But no. Tony D'Angelo, and when I say he wanted to be the Dawn of NXT, I'm meaning D-O-N. Like the fucking Godfather. One of the best competitors in WWE and in NXT that they had for quite a while fucking loses to a guy with an Italian stereotype for a gimmick. So, now, I will give Tommaso big props because
Victory.
Yeah. Weak. But yeah, no, basically
Round two.
big props to Tommaso because he did what you do in pro wrestling. When you're leaving the company, you put the other guy over. That's just what you do in wrestling. That's a tale as old as time unless you've got an ego like Hogan. But basically, if it's your last match, you put the guy over, you make him look like $1 million, So that way maybe the organization can build off of that. But I don't know. I feel like there's so many people you could have had Ciampa's final match against. Dangelo was just not the right fit, in my opinion. After the match, Triple H came out and thanked Tommaso for his contributions to NXT. It was very emotional, and hell, even when Tommaso Ciampa came down to the ring, before he got in the ring, he did Triple H's signature water pose on the apron. And then once he was in the ring, he did Shawn Michaels' signature pose in the ring to pay homage to the man that signed him to NXT and the head trainer of NXT. So, I'm really sad that Tommaso's leaving. Because he is such an incredible talent. But yeah. Oh, I should point out, this is the last of the Vikings. So pick which faction you want me to go over next, and we'll get to it after this.
Victory!
Alright, so moving on, next match of NXT. You had a triple threat match for the NXT Tag Team titles. You had the defending champions, Imperium, whose whole gimmick is, well, I wouldn't really say they have a gimmick per se. Oh yeah, I just love that. Backbreaker of death.
Victory!
Fuck yeah. Nobody fucks with my Viking and his backbreaker of death.
Round 3.
For this final one, should I go with a neck snap or a choke slam? Type quickly, I'm about to finish this one off.
Victory!
Damn, didn't even get it. Waited too long. Sadness. See, I feel like now I just gotta give him another fight, just so you could see all of his different, like, killing blows that he can hit somebody with. It's actually quite beautiful. Yeah, internet sucks sometimes. But anyways, the NXT Tag Team title match was a triple threat. Imperium, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Bartel defended against MSK, which is a group of young kids, and the Creed brothers, which are essentially like all collegiate wrestlers representing a faction called the Diamond Mine. Well, MSK won the titles, pinning
Round 1.
Marcel Bartel of Imperium, I believe? Maybe it was Fabian Eichner. I feel like Imperium was the team that ate the pin. That's all I remember. Keep in mind, this was Saturday morning, so... my memory's a bit questionable. Bam, bitch! Here we go, chokeslam! Followed by decapitation.
Victory.
I like to call it the guillotine chokeslam.
Round 2.
But I would rank the tag team match solid 3. It was a good match, but there was something about the match that kept distracting me from how good the match was, and I did it again. I stalled out. Whoopsies. So that's why I can't give it a proper rating, and I've got to give it... Next up, you had a Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Women's title, where Mandy Rose successfully defended the NXT Women's title, which they unveiled a new one that's supposed to represent the 2.0 bullshit with the random color splatters that they just have to fucking promote nowadays, I guess. Oh, bitch, I am so tempted to... You know what?
Victory.
In the lava you go! Go with your ass! Go with your ass! Throw you in the lava! But anyways... Mandy Rose kept her title again in a Fatal 4-Way. Okay, I'm almost terrified to what this could be, Tyrion. I just want you to know that. Anyways, Mandy's opponents were Cora Jade, who's basically like a skater girl. See you later, girl, I guess. Io Shirai, who has been given the moniker of Genius of the Sky. And then you have Kaylee Ray, who is a Scottish wrestler. Mandy Rose kept the title. I'd say this match probably a 3.5. I had a slight issue with the match that I will go over after the main event, but I'll get to that in a moment. For some reason, throughout the night, they kept promoting this stupid-ass competition where Indy Hartwell and her, I guess, husband, Dexter Loomis, were competing with another couple
Victory.
as to who, another couple by the name of Persia Parada and Duke Hudson. They were competing over who was the sexiest couple. They dressed up in their finest Dallas, Texas attire by going to a fucking Western shop, which I don't even know if all Texans wear Western apparel like that.
Victory.
And I just got that bitch hung up on the wall. Didn't even mean to do that, but hey, I'll take it. But anyways, so you had that match, or not really even a match, it was just, you had the universe voting on who is the sexiest couple.
Victory.
In what was by far one of the dumbest, I will repeat, one of the dumbest things to have a fan poll for, which was essentially Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell defeating the other couple with 89% of the vote. It was dumb and pointless. Also, goddamn, when you're a part of a couple and you lose by that much, my god. Brockster Beast. Maybe. Because right now I'm just showcasing all of the characters at the moment. Because it's been a while since I've done a For Honor stream. Also, I'm doing more of a review of Wrestlemania weekend more than actual competing. So I'm not really focused on putting my all into it. The next match, which infuriated and annoyed me to no end.
Round 1.
LA Knight versus Gunther. I say it in that annoyed tone because it was LA Knight versus Walter, but in WWE's infinite wisdom, they decided to rename the famous European wrestler Walter Gunther. And what kills me is Gunther is not an intimidating name. Not compared to Walter. Walter is intimidating as fuck. No. Sorry, dude. But anyways. Like, Walter is super intimidating, just in name and presence alone.
Round 3.
But Gunther? I picture some poor bastard in lederhosen worrying about booze and chocolate at Oktoberfest than an intimidating force. So, because of the pointless name change, I gotta give the match a 2. Also, there was nothing really memorable about it. I think the most memorable thing about it was the crowd was so pissed about the dumbass name change that they weren't even calling him Gunther. They were chanting Walter the entire match. So, yeah, it was bad. I would say that was probably the worst, if not one of the worst matches that I saw in the entire pay-per-view or the entire weekend. And in the main event, you had Dolph Ziggler defending the NXT title against Braun Breaker and winning to keep the belt. Now, this was, I'd say, 2.5, 3-star match, give or take.
Round 1.
But this is where I'm having problems. I don't know what WWE's obsession is with sending a main roster wrestler to NXT, but from a fan standpoint, it comes off as, oh, Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler couldn't hack it on the main roster, so we're going to send them down to NXT, which is basically the developmental brand, and they can win a world title there. They can never do it on the main brand, but they can do it there. That's kind of what it comes off as, and I'm not a fan. That being said,
Round 3.
unless there's anything Slim or Tim want to contribute to NXT or talk about for NXT, I'm going to move on to Mania Night 1.
Victory.
I would say moving Mandy and Ziggler to NXT means that they're enhancement talent. No, they haven't treated Dolph that well at all, but what I'm saying is it comes off like Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler couldn't get the job done on Raw or SmackDown, so they have to go to NXT and fight less experienced wrestlers. That's what I'm meaning. And that's why it kind of leaves a bad taste in the mouth. I have noticed that Slim has been awfully quiet, but then again, he doesn't watch NXT. So I'm waiting to see if everybody is ready for me to move on. Vince's way of thinking is very skewed, my friend. Okay, Slim, are you ready for us to move on then? Ah, you were just listening to the NXT recap. Got it. I got you, I got you.
Round 1.
Okay, so
Victory.
moving on to Mania Saturday, we encountered what I'd like to call the biggest fuck you of my entire day. I say that because on both Saturday and Sunday, they had a 2-hour, count 'em, 2-hour pre-show and didn't do a goddamn thing except talk. No pre-show matches, none of that, just talk. And if it sounds like I'm really fucking annoyed, yes, the same matches over and over and over for 2 fucking hours!
Victory!
Dude, I was right there with you. Oh, trust me, there was a match. I will get to that later when we get to... I'll put it this way. It annoyed me so much because at WrestleMania Saturday, there was a match that had to be moved from WrestleMania Saturday to WrestleMania Sunday. Meanwhile, I sit through 2 hours of pointless pre-show and find out that it got scrapped for night 1 because of time constraints. Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, they could have used a match that was cut from Mania in the pre-show, and they wouldn't have had to worry about the time constraint issue. Oh, I will get to that. Oh, that being said, by the way, this is my least favorite character to play as, so don't be surprised if I suck. Because I do not use the Shinobi well. And if they put me up against a pain-in-the-ass opponent, I'm probably getting my ass handed to me. That being said, when Mania Saturday got started, we had the Usos defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles against Shinsuke Nakamura and what is essentially his hype man on the guitar in Rick Boogs. The match was blink and you'll miss it, if I'm being honest.
Victory.
Because I went to go use the bathroom and get a drink, thinking the match was gonna last a while, maybe get some food.
Round 2.
The match was over by the time I was ready to sit down and eat. And the food I was cooking took me maybe 10 minutes to make. It was not a long match. Now, the problem with that was, and I think what happened was, they had to call an audible. See, they had to call an audible and end the match early, because during the match, there was a spot where Rick Boogs was supposed to have one of the Usos on his shoulders in a fireman's carry, and then the other one jumps on his back to try and destabilize him, but then you're supposed to see how strong, amazingly strong Boogs is, because he's able to hold both Usos on his back. Yeah. What happened was, when the other Uso jumped on his shoulders, his knee gave out. Because his knee gave out, they had to tag in Shinsuke in quite a hurry, and the match ended after the Usos hit Shinsuke with a 3D. The match, for me at least, was 1.5. Because I got more time seeing them promote Mike's Harder lemonade mixed with iced tea, because Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura were dressed in Mike's Hard colors. And no, I had more experience with that promotion than I did the entire match. So, at least for me, freak accidents happen. It's understandable. But for me, it's a 1-star match, because it was over so quickly. While I'm waiting for this to load, I'm going to take a drink. Loosen up the pipes. Oh, and apparently Mike's Hard Lemonade has a mascot called the Harder Farmer, which I was not aware of until last night. So that was an interesting revelation.
Victory.
That being said, after that match, we had Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I'll be honest, they were building up this match for so many months that by the time we finally got there, I didn't fucking care. I really didn't. They built it up too damn long, with no definitive resolution at all. Drew McIntyre won the match after hitting Corbin with the Claymore. The coolest part of the match actually came after the match was over, when Drew McIntyre scared Madcap Moss off of the apron with his Claymore sword, and essentially, with a single swing, chopped the top and middle ropes completely apart. Like, with one slice, his sword went through the top rope, the middle rope, and kind of bounced off the bottom rope. Yeah, and apparently Drew is the only superstar to kick out of the end of days, which I think is bullshit. But then again, they also stated that Happy Corbin was undefeated since becoming Happy Corbin. Which, I don't know why you would give him a new undefeated streak just because he got a new name. Which is really fucking stupid, but I digress. Anyways, moving on. Oh, I should probably rate that match. Solid 2-star match. Mostly because they over-promoted it. You know what? I'm going to give it a 2.5. They over-promoted it for months, since at least the beginning of the year. And the coolest thing about it
Round 1
was Drew McIntyre cutting through 2 ropes with a single sword swing after the match had already ended. So, after that, we come to one of the things Slim wanted to talk about. So, I'm going to let him vent his frustrations once I announce it first, before I chime in. We had The Miz and Logan Paul winning a match against the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic. Slim, I will let you share your thoughts before I say how I felt about the match. Because I know you wanted to comment on this one.
Victory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're not mad at... Okay. Yeah?
Round 3.
The match was decently thought out, I'll give you that. And as much as it pains me to say it, Logan did a good job. I mean, a celebrity winning at Mania is kind of what always happens.
Victory.
But basically, okay, so here's the thing. Logan Paul wasn't terrible. Yeah, I'm kind of with Slim on this one. Nah, dude, if you look back at every WrestleMania, every celebrity that's ever competed at WrestleMania has won. Regardless of what side they were on. Because keep in mind, Mr. T was hated going into WrestleMania 2. But he won. He beat Roddy Piper. Same thing with Floyd Mayweather at WrestleMania 24. He was despised. But he beat the Big Show. Yes, I will agree with that one. 9 times out of 10, the celebrities are fighting bad guys. But even... Okay, yes, but... And Big Show was not the bad guy going into that.
Round 1.
I'd say Big Show was the face in that match. No, I'm agreeing with you. But okay. Okay, so let's think about this. Can you honestly see Logan Paul being a good guy for fucking anything?
Round 2.
Think about that. I mean, yes, say what you will about the history of WWE and their celebrity matches. Dude, he's super relevant. As much as it pains me to say it, Logan Paul is probably the most relevant internet celebrity that we have. Outside of maybe Pokimane. Because here's the thing.
Round 3.
Floyd Mayweather fought Logan Paul in a boxing match. Dude, you're thinking about Logan Paul from like 5 years ago. I mean, I get it, he's a dick, but at least be current with what he's being a dick about. But anyways,
Victory.
The reason it was so big to have Logan Paul in that match was because Logan Paul fought Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. I think it was... I don't think it went the full 12 rounds, or even 15 rounds. I think it was a 3-round boxing match. Maybe it was 12 rounds. All I know is... the match... It was the weirdest damn thing, because... if the match went to a draw, they were going to call it a draw. They were not going to have a referee's decision for the match. Which is goddamn ridiculous, but it is what it is. That being said, Logan Paul's relevant because he stood toe-to-toe with Mayweather and actually went the distance. Floyd Mayweather didn't knock him out. And keep in mind, this is a professional boxer that to this day is still undefeated, and he couldn't knock out Logan Paul. I think the thing that burns me up the most about that match between the Mysterios, Logan Paul and The Miz, Logan Paul was actually good in the ring. Slim can probably back me up on this. He made maybe 1, maybe 2 missteps, but overall, Logan Paul actually wrestled well.
Victory.
Which was fucking surprising. But yeah, as Slim stated before, Logan... Yes, I was legitimately impressed my own damn self. But anyways, the match ended when The Miz got the pin over, I want to say he pinned Rey? Yeah. Miz pinned Rey Mysterio to win the match for his team. And then as he and Logan were celebrating, Miz turned on Logan by hitting him with the skull-crushing finale.
Round 3.
Which, to be fair, last time Logan Paul was involved in WWE, he got stunned by Owens and then got a haluva kick by Sami Zayn. And I can't even remember when that match took place. And that's how you kill with a stick. But yes, overall match, I give that match a solid 3 out of 5. Because Logan Paul impressed me, but Miz turning on Logan Paul makes no fucking sense unless they plan to do a follow-up to that. Like if they have Miz versus Logan Paul, then I could see the double turn or him turning on him making sense. But if it's just Miz being an egotistical asshole that wants the spotlight all to himself, it makes no sense. Just my opinion. Next up, we had Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's title. Bianca Belair got her long-awaited redemption arc, I guess you would call it, when she finally beat Becky for the title. And I have thoughts.
Round 1.
I am not upset. I disagree. That was not match of the night for me. Not even fucking close was it to being match of the night. Not for night 1, at least.
Victory.
Night 2, maybe. If you compare night 2 matches to night 1 matches, maybe Becky versus Bianca would be match of the night, but not night 1. Fact of the matter was, I don't like Bianca Belair. I just don't. Story-wise, it makes sense for her to win the title. She was unprepared to fight Becky at SummerSlam, lost the title in 26 seconds, and she's been fighting to get the title back ever since. But I don't like Belair. I just don't. I think it's the EST moniker. The EST moniker I have a fucking problem with.
Victory.
No, actually, that's not what I have a problem with. Because a wrestler boasting that they're the best is nothing new. CM Punk has been calling himself the best in the world for fucking years. Dude, I don't like the EST, man. Like, here's the thing. First off, they did a promo package for promoting Belair tonight. Had nothing to do with the pay-per-view, which that's another thing that annoys me. Commercials and promos in between all your fucking matches to stretch out the goddamn runtime annoys the hell out of me. It's been annoying me for months. But with Belair, I don't like this whole, oh, I've been the best at everything for as long as I can remember. And in high school, I was the best. In college, I was the best. In WWE, I'm the best. Okay, Mary Sue. That's... You gotta understand, if Bianca Belair was a character in a movie... Dude, I get it. I don't like Charlotte either. What I'm saying is, like I said, it's not even the EST gimmick. It's the I've been the best since always, forever and ever and ever that I have a problem with. Because, I'm sorry, but if Bianca Belair was in a movie... Dude, you're missing my point. You are completely missing my point. It has nothing to do with in-character gimmick. At least, not entirely. It has everything to do with Bianca Belair has never had a misstep in her entire life, according to the life and times of Bianca Belair.
Victory.
Tell me, if she was a main character in a movie, you would not call her a Mary Sue. I'll wait.
Two. Victory.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Three.
I don't care if she's a bad guy or not. Like, I can't get over when she was an asshole and she was saying undefeated like a fucking moron. I remember her days in NXT. I remember putting up with undefeated when she had lost matches, but she completely ignores the fact that she ever lost. That is my problem with the character. Also, the other issue I have with the character, I'm tired of the braid. Because no matter how good she is, I always have this nagging thought in the back of my head. Would WWE be wasting their time promoting her? Would they be putting so much time? Yeah, exactly. Like, in the back of my head, every time I see Bianca, I'm like, would WWE be wasting so much time promoting her if she had a normal fucking haircut? See, that's what I'm saying, dude. If you get rid of the braid, what the fuck is she? That braid is her entire identity. Without it, she is fucking nothing. And I hate the fact that they built an entire gimmick around a person's stupid fucking haircut.
Round one.
I mean, yes, she's got the whole EST thing, but she could easily do the EST thing without her goddamn braid.
Victory.
Dude, she's been a heel. That's part of the thing. She's been a heel, she's been a face. She's been both. And the fact of the matter is, at this point it would be a refreshing change of pace because the character has gotten stale. I mean,
Victory.
let's be real. NXT is WWE. Vince McMahon doesn't want to recognize it, but it is.
Round three.
The only version of NXT Vince wants to accept is this watered down 2.0 shit. I'm just saying, the gimmick as it is old, at least to me. To me, the gimmick is as frustrating and old as when Kali was calling himself the Punjabi Playboy. Like, as if anybody was ever buying that shit.
Victory.
Like I said, credit where credit is due. Bianca is strong. I've never seen anybody hold somebody above their head with a military press slam, basically with one arm, while their opponent is trusting in them enough to hold them up in place so that the opponent braces their hands against her other shoulder. I will admit that Bianca Belair is a hell of a talent. But they need to get rid of the damn braid. Or at least turn her heel so she uses it like a fucking weapon all the time instead of when her back's to the corner, like when she's backed into a corner. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, moving on to the next match. The match that I believe... Yeah, have her use it like a garrote to choke people out. Have her be a heel. I would be okay with Bianca as a heel. Because then I wouldn't be so conflicted as to why I dislike her character over... like someone like, say, Bobby Lashley. I love the almighty Bobby Lashley. Because his whole gimmick, whether he's a face or a heel, is beating the ever-living fuck out of people. That is all Bobby does, and I love the hell out of him for it. Okay, but so did Bayley. Bayley inspired a lot of young women too, but the difference is, I mean, you're not wrong. Bobby is way more enjoyable as a heel. Hell, when he's just doing the almighty, it doesn't matter if he's a good guy or a bad guy or not, because that's not the point of the almighty. The almighty is come in, wreck house, leave. Make them realize you've been there. That's literally his whole gimmick. Anyways, on to what I believe was match of the night. Seth Rollins versus Mr. McMahon's mystery opponent. Rollins would end up facing the returning Cody Rhodes, who returned with his theme from AEW, which I really appreciate and enjoy, which is Kingdom by Downstate. I recommend going to check it out on, oh, everyone knew it was Cody, yeah, I mean, at least I was hoping it was Cody, but you know WWE. Sometimes when WWE does this mystery opponent crap, they throw a lemon at you. You know what I mean? Like, I shit you not, my roommate actually thought that because Undertaker said never say never at the Hall of Fame, that when the lights went out, it was going to be Taker taking on Rollins. And let's be real. Downstate did Drew McIntyre's theme. Downstate did Drew McIntyre's Broken Dreams theme, to be exact. The one that Drew desperately wants to use again. Orton's Voices theme is currently done by the lead singer of Rev Theory, as I recall. Yeah, no. I mean, Slim's not wrong. Knowing WWE, they could have very easily pulled the rug out from under us, make us think it was Cody, only to have somebody like Santino fucking Marella come in and wrestle Seth. They do that shit all the time, and then they're like, oh, you were expecting this guy? Here, we'll have them make their surprise return / debut the night after WrestleMania.
Round 1.
Santino is a fun wrestler, or fun character, don't get me wrong, but at WrestleMania, it had to be Cody. Because any other pick would have just pissed people off, let's be real. But no, it was Cody's first match back in 6 years, especially after leaving AEW, a company that he helped start, to return to WWE. And I think it was the best match of the night. Cody and Santino Great, now you got me on the Santino kick. Cody and Seth fucking killed it, man. 5-star, definite 5-star match. Oh, I forgot to rank the other match. Belair versus Becky, or Belair versus Lynch, I would say 4 stars, easily. Because it was a good match. Even though I'm not a fan of Belair, just because the character is essentially Rocky Maivia territory levels of lame at this point, I still thought it was a good match. I just thought, personal opinion, Cody versus Seth was better.
Victory.
But, let's see. But yes, that was my pick for match of the night for night 1. If I had to give match of the night for... Yeah, no, I would also count NXT Saturday for that as well. Or NXT Stand and Deliver for match of the night for that. Next match, you had Charlotte Flair defending the SmackDown Women's title against Ronda Rousey. And all I thought going into that match is, coming out of that match is, okay, Ronda lost. Is she gonna go run off and cry again like she did last time she lost a match? That's literally all I thought. The match itself, I didn't care because I don't like Charlotte and I don't like Ronda. I don't like that Ronda's last match before her recent comeback was the match where she broke her hand in that triple threat match. Becky solidified herself as 2-belt Bex, or whatever the hell. Becky 2 belts.
Round 1.
And Ronda did nothing for 2 years except bitch and moan. The fans turned on me! I was supposed to be the hero! And they turned on me! And I got so sick of Ronda talking shit about wrestling fans, talking shit about wrestling in general. Fuck her.
Victory.
I was hoping she'd never come back, but she did, so I gotta put up with it. That being said, I eagerly wait for her to pull this crap again because she lost another match. Because, see, here's the thing. Even in UFC, Ronda Rousey had this reputation for every time she lost a fight, she'd bitch and moan and cry. Because how dare the great Ronda Rousey lose a match?
Victory.
Bitch has an ego on her a mile long and I can't fucking stand her. Charlotte Flair isn't much better because I'm still convinced Charlotte would not have gotten as many opportunities as she has had it not been for her daddy. And I was convinced going into that match that because WWE is distancing themselves from Rick, that she was going to lose to Rousey,
Victory.
and then they were just going to boot Charlotte from the company completely. Because it wouldn't be the first time that WWE has held the actions of a loved one against someone else. Or against their employees. Yeah, Brock isn't a big baby back bitch like Rousey is. That's why I sometimes am not a fan of Brock Lesnar. I have more respect for him than I do for Rousey. Because she keeps bragging about how she was the first UFC Women's Champion like it was some big accomplishment. Sorry, sweetheart, but back when you were first UFC Women's Champion, there weren't too many women in UFC, so not much of an accomplishment. Either way, I give Charlotte versus Rousey a fucking... I give it a 2-star match, but that's mostly based on personal bias and the fact that I can't stand either woman in the match. For me, it was a lose-lose. I would rather see the return of Bayley or Asuka than have to put up with both of those bitches. And then in the main event for Saturday, Mania Saturday, you had the Kevin Owens show with special guest Stone Cold Steve Austin. Kevin, for context and the build up to this feud, Kevin Owens had been bad-mouthing Texas and bad-mouthing Stone Cold for weeks. And it eventually boiled down to Kevin even admitting, I invited you here because I want to have a fight. And he challenged to Steve to a no-holds-barred match. Steve had his first match in... Yeah. Stone Cold had his first match, as he even pointed out, in that very arena. And... well, last night he had his last match in that very arena. And after 19 years, he beat the dog shit out of Kevin Owens. Yes, Kevin is such a good heel.
Victory.
Kevin is such a good heel. The one problem I have with that whole match, they job Kevin out to every legend that comes through. When he was Universal Champion, he got jobbed out to Goldberg. I'm trying to remember another legend, because there was 3 legends at least, including Goldberg and Stone Cold, where Kevin was essentially told to make the legend look good. Now, I'll admit, I love the match. I have nothing bad to say about it. It was good to see Stone Cold kicking ass and taking names just like the old days. So, all in all, good job. Kevin took 2 stunners. And to Stone Cold's credit, he took as well as he gave. Because Kevin hit him with some damn good shots during the match. And even hit Steve with a stunner before Steve got his Stone Cold stunner. But anyways, Kevin hit Steve with the stunner.
Round 1.
No. Reverse that. Steve hit Kevin with a Stone Cold stunner to win the match. And then he was doing his usual Stone Cold celebration with like 15 million beers. He hit Kevin with another Stone Cold stunner. And then the Dallas police force, or at least people dressed up like Dallas PD, dragged Kevin Owens out of the fucking building. Like, he got... The second stunner hit him so hard he rolled out of the ring and into the waiting hands of Dallas PD, who took Kevin Owens out of the building. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Victory.
Oh! And, Steve invited Byron Saxton to come into the ring, coming from commentary to drink a beer with him. Byron, like an idiot, accepted, and got a Stone Cold Stunner for his trouble. Because you never come into the ring and drink with the rattlesnake. Byron's a fucking idiot. Of course he was gonna fall for it.
Victory.
Like, Byron is the biggest fucking goober in WWE. But no, that was night 1 of WrestleMania. Overall, pretty good night. Yeah, there really wasn't too much to complain about. Moving on to Mania Sunday. Once again, they did a 2-hour pre-show. I ended my Sunday D&D session an hour early because I was told start time starts at 5. And I had to sit for 2 hours. Well, a little over an hour. And not a single fucking match. That whole fucking 2 hour, or whole fucking kickoff. So, eventually, sorry, I'm picking who I'm going to be using next, and I'm getting a little distracted, because I'm bitching and moaning about things. Okay, so, the pay-per-view started off proper, or at least night 2 started off with RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle defending the Raw Tag Team titles. Yeah, that was pretty much me. When I had my players fighting fighting Yinogu himself, who is literally a null god. Okay? I had to end D&D early for bullshit when my players fought a null god, and Ragdoll's character is currently on death saves, thanks to said null god. Anyways, so RK Bro, which I fucking hate the tag team. I like Randy. I can't fucking stand Matt Riddle.
Victory.
Because I hate that bro shit. But anyways, they defended the titles against the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Alpha Academy is Chad Gable and Otis, for those unfamiliar with wrestling. Or at least those who haven't tuned in for a while. RK Bro won after, well, after essentially Orton hit a RKO on Chad Gable.
Victory.
After the match, they were celebrating with the Olympic gold medalist, Gable Steveson, who was in attendance, because... Oh, yeah, while we're on that subject, Matt Riddle did an amazing top rope, like a springboard RKO off the top rope on Montez Ford that it looked like Montez didn't see coming. It was pretty good. It was pretty damn good.
Victory.
Same. Orton's best when he works alone, in my opinion. But then again, he's one of those elder statesman veterans at this point where he's been doing this shit for like 20 years at this point. So, I don't know, man. I think him being in the main event or him being a singles competitor, I think those days just might be done for Orton at least. Because he's getting to that age where they're probably going to hop him from one tag team to another until he retires. If I'm being perfectly honest about it. That being said, the tag title match. Yeah, at this point, Orton's doing it for the paycheck, so. Well, of course they love RK Bro. Because people love all this bro shit.
Round one.
People love the bro shit, and therefore, by extension, they love Matt Riddle and anything he fucking does. There is profit in the glorified pothead.
Victory.
What kills me is, because of Matt Riddle's whole stoner, hipster, bro shtick that he's got going, people forget that he's an actual MMA fighter, or at least he was in MMA for quite a goddamn long time until he came to WWE. But that shit's constantly overshadowed by all this bro crap. Either way, I give the match a solid 3 out of 5.
Round 3.
Good opener, to be sure. Moving on, we have Bobby Lashley, the almighty Bobby Lashley, versus Omos. Oh boy. That match was tough to watch.
Victory.
Not so much on Lashley's part. Lashley did what he could, but Omos is greener than baby shit. Because they're literal. Like, I guarantee, with as green as Omos is, if he wasn't over 7 feet tall, he would not have been on the card tonight. I guarantee it. If he was an average person's height, he would have been sitting in the back warming a fucking bench or something. And Slim's right, he is not a good wrestler. They're capitalizing solely on the fact that he's a giant. That's it. Like, the sheer fact that Omos, like, here's how the match went. The second Bobby got Omos off his feet, Bobby whooped his ass.
Round 1.
Yeah, no, there was a spot in the match where the back of Bobby's head hit the ring post accidentally because Omos is not that great at wrestling, so I would not be surprised if he's got a concussion. First match back from injury, too. Fucking hell. But no, the way that match worked out was Omos shows why he's an intimidating giant.
Victory.
And then Bobby Lashley hits him with a suplex, getting him off his feet. I'd say second coming of Great Khali. That's probably more accurate. Like I said, second coming of Great Khali. Giant Gonzalez could wrestle. He just wasn't given a chance to in WWE. Because in WCW, he could fucking work, man. But instead, WWE puts him in a big fucking monkey suit. Dude! Khali could not wrestle. Khali was shit at wrestling, and just like Omos, the second you took him off his feet, his lack of wrestling ability fucking showed. Because with Omos, I keep wanting to call him Big E, the second Bobby Lashley hit him with that suplex, he hit him with two spears, and the match was over. So, yeah, no, in my opinion, and like I said, we only saw the version of, like, unless you watch Giant Gonzalez in his WCW days, you don't understand that he could actually wrestle. So, but no, I give that. Actually, I would say this was probably the worst match of the whole weekend. Now that I'm thinking about it, what did I say the worst match was before? Drew versus Corbin? Yeah, no. McIntyre versus Corbin was better than this. Easily worst match of the whole weekend. Next up, you had Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn in an anything goes match. And I gotta tell you, folks, it was fucking hilarious. You had Sami getting hit with large foam hands. You had Sami get hit with a device where the device set up was essentially just set up to kick somebody in the balls.
Victory.
Yes, Johnny Knoxville from Jackass. He was there tonight and wrestled Sami Zayn.
Round 2.
Yes, we had a Jackass match in WrestleMania. Oh, and the ball torture didn't stop with that little device that Johnny had.
Victory.
We also had a match where, part of the match where Johnny Knoxville got the 7-10 split on Sami Zayn in the corner, where he literally rolled the bowling ball so hard it had to have hurt Sami's nuts. It just fucking had to. And it was fucking beautiful. Oh yeah, it was, dude. Like, at one point in the match, Chris Pontius came in the ring, stripped down to like a fucking booty briefs to fuck with Sami. At one point, you had Wee Man come in to help Johnny. Only thing missing was Steve-O. And the sad thing is, the only reason Steve-O was missing, if memory serves, is because he left the Jackass crew because all of his injuries and everything led him to turn to drugs. If my memory serves me correctly. Like, he got heavy into drug and alcohol use, so yeah, Steve-O's not a part of that anymore. It sucks, but it's better for his health. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like, you actually, at one point in the match, Wee Man body slammed Sami Zayn. Oh, there was also a table spot where they set up a table that was covered in mouse traps. Sami, of course, fell through it, but it was a table covered in mouse traps. And the ending of the match was yes, as Slim has alluded to, the giant mouse trap. Johnny Knoxville beat Sami Zayn by using a giant mouse trap on Sami. I believe it broke. Yes, pretty much. It was a Jackass-themed wrestling match. And, like, the cord that they were supposed to use to set the trap off broke. So Johnny had to do it manually, and the back of the mouse trap essentially hit the back of Johnny's head, I think, or at least his back, and then slammed down on Sami. And because it's a giant mouse trap, Johnny pinned Sami while he was stuck in the mouse trap. And even after the match, Sami couldn't get out of the mouse trap. It was fucking hilarious. I do believe Sami got cut open at one point, because I did notice droplets of blood on the giant mouse trap. From, I want to say, Sami's right arm. But that probably could have come from the table, since there was all those mouse traps on said table. That being said, great match. Easily 3 out of 5. It wasn't the best technically, but I wasn't expecting it to be. It was fucking hilarious. And to me, that's all that really mattered. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. That's kind of what I figured. But yeah, no, definitely a good match. Next match on the card was a big Fatal 4-Way match where Queen Zelina and Carmella defended the women's tag team titles against the teams of Sasha Banks and Naomi, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and then the team of Shayna Baszler and Natalya. I personally, two things. One part I hate about this match is the fact, actually 2 parts, but it both revolves around the same person. I'm with Slim. I wanted Liv and Rhea to win. First off, they came out dressed as Catwoman and Batman. Liv Morgan had like a Batman Returns Michelle Pfeiffer themed outfit, whereas Rhea was wearing a costume based more on the... Yes, Rhea with the massive mommy-dommy energy. Speaking of that, Rhea was actually dressed as the Robert Pattinson version of Batman. And the only reason I say that is because when she took off the mask that she wore to the ring that kind of made her look more like Donnie Darko than Batman, she had like the thick eyeshadow around the eyes. And to my recollection, Robert Pattinson is the only Batman that when he took the mask off had that dark eyeshadow around the eyes. And I just fucked up my guy's thing. Damn it. So I gotta switch that back. Okay, that's not too difficult. But no, I'm with Slim on this one. I would have preferred if Liv and Rhea had won, but instead they gave it to the former members of Team Bad in Naomi and Sasha. Which, okay, fine, whatever. Sasha Banks and Naomi win the tag titles. I don't know, man. I want Liv Morgan to have success, and it's getting to the point to where I'm tired of seeing her come up short. I think that's what it comes down to. Yeah, I would prefer seeing Shayna, and I would definitely prefer, because like the whole thing was just no, at least for me. Like there's I have nothing against. Okay, so I can actually switch up the... Okay, so that's how I do that. Got it. Yeah, the skin feature is a new thing for For Honor this season, where they actually have skins that override the appearance of your respective character. Not something I fucks with normally, but you know, is what it is, I suppose. There was one thing I really disliked about the match. Well, actually, two things, but other than, well, obviously I wasn't a fan of Rhea and Liv losing, because I'm tired of Liv always coming up short in matches when it comes to shit like this. But both of my issues revolve around Carmella. First off, if Carmella's in a match, please take Corey Graves off of commentary, because the commentary is subpar as it is. But when Corey Graves is on commentary during one of his girlfriend's matches, he's goddamn insufferable. And the other issue I have with anything Carmella related... No, I will not! No, dude, Corey is not a great commentator. He has his moments where he's not a terrible ass commentator, but he's... How do I properly explain this? Corey is not the best commentator that everybody says he is. Like, WWE is treating him like he's the best commentator. Yeah, I get that, but here's the thing. When you combine a shitty-ass commentator with, I gots to support my woman, yuck, he comes off like a gibbering jackass. As it is, I can't stand Carmella because you would think, after doing this face mask, God forbid I break my face gimmick that she's been doing for about a year now, give or take a few months, you'd think for WrestleMania, her stupid fucking face mask wouldn't look like absolute dog shit. But it looks just as bad now than it did when she first started this crap. And I defy anybody to tell me I'm wrong on that one. It's fucking god-awful, man. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Dean Ambrose is actually a perfect example. Renee Young was on commentary for quite a few of her husband's matches. And she never became, oh, I gotta support my mans because it's my mans. And yet, the only commentator I find more annoying than Corey is Byron Saxton. But that's because Byron Saxton has become the commentary punching bag because he's a glorified mama's boy. That's how he comes off in commentary. That's how he comes off in life. I mean, King's commentary was just part of the time, man. They could never do that today because of how PC WWE wants to do things, but they could never pull that off today. It's sad, but that's the way it is. Honestly, King and JR were probably my favorite commentary team of all time. Of the current commentary teams, I prefer Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. I think Michael Cole and Pat McAfee have a good chemistry. I really do. But anyways, let the pigeons loose! Taz is a good commentator. I don't think he gets enough credit for his commentary. No, I think the golden age of wrestling commentary was that when we had Taz and Michael Cole on SmackDown, and then we had JR and King on Raw. That was the golden age of WWE commentary. At least for me. Because those were two solid commentary teams. In TNA, they were bad. I feel like that's partially because in TNA, they let him go more over the top and more king-like than he would have gone in WWE. But no, I put Taz and Michael Cole and King and JR up against any commentary teams. They are both within my top 5. Same with Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan, another classic commentary team. That being said, next match on the card. Banks and Naomi winning the titles and that whole Fatal 4-Way match. I give it a 2.5. It was a decent match, but it didn't last that long, and I still have issues with Carmella's face mask nonsense. Like, I might be able to tolerate Corey's bullshit and his nonsense if I didn't have to also stare at that hideous fucking face mask. But, that being said, moving on to the next match on the card, we had Edge versus AJ Styles. A dream match to be sure, and what I would probably deem as the match of the night for night 2. Edge versus AJ was just fucking awesome. If I had to deduct points, it would come from the ending where AJ got distracted by the sudden appearance of Damian Priest at the tail end of the match. So, because of that, he took too long doing the springboard for the phenomenal elbow and got hit with a midair spear from Edge. After the match, it was revealed that with Edge's new heel gimmick, Damian Priest and Edge are apparently now allies. Personally, and this is just me speaking, I would love to see Edge do his own version of like a Evolution or Legacy style stable, and then you have guys like Damian Priest as his backup. I think if you build that organically over time, that would be fucking amazing. We need a solid faction that rivals the Bloodline, damn it. Because the Bloodline is the only faction we got right now. I wouldn't say La Familia, because Edge's current gimmick is more of a heavy metal icon type of thing. Like, I've been around for a while, I'm an icon, get on my level, you fucking scrub. That's Edge's current gimmick. So in that respect, because they're not, when they announced him, okay, first off, he's got a new theme. It's from Alter Bridge, just like the last one. Well, no, that's not why I'm saying no to the La Familia. Because if Edge were to create a faction now, it would feel completely different than La Familia did. Because Damian Priest is kind of got a similar rocker feel to him, where he's got that rock star heavy metal style. So I feel like if Edge could get another guy, or maybe two more guys that have that similar style, give it proper time to grow and blossom, it would be amazing. I truly believe that. Because, like I said, the Bloodline is the only faction we have in WWE right now. Because WWE has killed the Hurt Business twice over, which was a damn good faction. But they fucking ruined it. That being said, Edge versus AJ, 5 stars without question. If Cody versus Rollins was my match of the night for night 1, Edge versus AJ is for me match of the night for night 2, without a doubt. Okay, now we go to the match that was supposed to be on WrestleMania Saturday, but it was scrapped. It was scrapped, according to WWE, due to time constraints. Funny, you had 2 hours of pre-show where you did fuck all, and you couldn't have one more match because of time constraints. Okay. So anyways, it was the New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch. Much like Walter, the leader of Imperium, they took a established wrestler that has been in WWE and NXT for years in the Bruiserweight, Pete Dunne, and they fucking renamed him Butch. Just to team up with Ridge Holland, who Ridge Holland gets to keep his fucking wrestling name. But they changed, and I'm getting a headache as I'm bitching about this. They changed Pete Dunne's name to Butch, and I don't know why. Pete Dunne doesn't seem to be bothered by it because, in his words, dude, I don't know why. All I know is Pete Dunne doesn't seem to be bothered by it because, in his words, people don't watch him for his name, his ring name. They watch him because of his wrestling ability. Fair enough, I suppose. But why Butch? Hasn't WWE had enough wrestlers named Butch for one fucking lifetime? Is Bushwhacker Butch fucking dead? Is this why we're having another guy named Butch in 2022? The only good thing of this match was that, and if you listen to the New Day podcast, you would know that Big E has been pushing for quite some time to see Kofi and Xavier coming out wearing matching singlets and not the wrestling tights that they normally wear. So, for tonight, Xavier and Kofi came out wearing wrestling singlets like Big E has been hoping for. And to make things just that much sweeter and heartwarming, they were essentially wearing wrestling singlets in the same style as Big E's from the night that he won the WWE title months ago. Like, same design patterns, same overall style, color pattern, like, colors were the only thing that was different. That being said, the match was very short. I'd say it maybe went 5 minutes, 10 at most. And it was pretty much a numbers game, where the fact that Sheamus and Ridge Holland had Butch in their corner, it ended pretty damn fast. Sheamus, Ridge Holland won the match, and after it was over, Butch attacked Xavier, and essentially attacked him with a fucking fish hook, trying to fucking, I guess, rip his damn mouth open or some shit, until Sheamus pulled him off him. Because, you want to know what Butch's gimmick is? He's a rabid animal that just randomly attacks people. I fucking hate it. I do. I just fucking hate it. Needless to say, 1.5 stars. The only thing that makes this better than Omos versus Lashley? Yes, I'm being serious. I wouldn't be complaining about it if I wasn't serious. You can ask Slim for confirmation as to how serious I'm being. The only thing that saves Sheamus and Ridge versus the New Day from being the worst match of the whole fucking weekend is the fact that you had Sheamus and the New Day carrying Ridge's fucking ass and his proneness to botching moves. Like, it's bad enough that this whole... Get this! The whole storyline for the feud started because Ridge Holland botched a suplex and dropped Big E on his head, which broke Big E's neck. Yeah, Slim, I was just getting to that. It's like, the whole reason this match existed was because Ridge Holland dropped Big E on his head and broke his neck. Thankfully, the injury wasn't that serious, as Big E doesn't need surgery. Any injury that you don't need surgery for is a good sign. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty bad. I've seen it a couple times now, and it looked like Big E was looking at the mat when he got thrown for the suplex and came down on his neck like that. But thankfully, Big E only fractured 2 discs in his neck. Yeah, I know he's got one hell of a thick neck, which is probably why the damage wasn't as bad. His big-ass neck probably absorbed a lot of that blow. But no. From the latest injury reports that I heard, Big E fractured 2 of the discs in his neck, but as they don't require surgery, that means they will heal on their own, and he should be fine. That's good. As a matter of fact, that's really fucking good. Because any injury that requires surgery is 10 times worse, in my opinion, than an injury that will heal on its own. Because yes, lingering injuries and all that, but having to open somebody up, especially when it involves the neck, that's risking life and death right there, man. Because one wrong move by the doctor and you could end up paralyzed from the neck down. You could die. So the fact that he doesn't require surgery is a damn good thing. So moving on, we had the commentator, Pat McAfee, former Indianapolis Colt punter. From what my understanding is, he's the best NFL kicker, or at least the best NFL punt kicker, in at least the past 10 years. I only know that because WWE would not shut up about it. But there you go. Pat McAfee was fighting Austin Theory, whose current gimmick is, I'm Vince McMahon's protege. So I'm gonna act like a little shit heel of a child, throwing drinks in your face, getting you to chase me around the building. But oh wait, I can always hide behind Mr. McMahon like he's my goddamn daddy, and you won't do a fucking thing. Honestly, well, all I can say to that is, Slim, look at how the last protege turned out. As I recall, Drew McIntyre didn't become a damn good wrestler until after he got put in a shitty gimmick called the 3MB. I mean, personally, I like 3MB just for the nostalgia. Plus, I loved seeing Hornswoggle dressed up as like a cowboy rocker thing, like he was fucking the lead singer of Poison. That was hilarious to me. But that being said, Drew went from being the chosen one to being a member of 3MB to being fired Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If they think Austin Theory is good enough to be main event material, he's gonna have to make the same damn journey as Drew. Because right now, the highest title I could see Austin Theory actually winning and be legit is either the Intercontinental or the US title, and that's only if he has a damn good match with either Finn Balor or Ricochet. Because outside of that, I don't see Austin Theory as much of fucking anything. Anyways, yeah, no, like 80% of people hate Austin Theory. Okay, Roman is supposed to be hated. That's the whole fucking point of his gimmick. We will get to that. Also, I kind of like Roman, so I liked him better. I like him better as a bad guy, at least. That being said, McAfee beat Austin Theory with a roll-up because Theory, showing how green he is, or at least how much of a rookie he is in WWE, got pinned with a fucking roll-up. I don't hate Roman, though. But we're not on Roman yet. We'll get to him in a few minutes. Anyways, so Pat McAfee beat Austin Theory. After the match, yes, the roll-up. Anyways, Vince McMahon was sitting at ringside for this match. So after the match, he went over to Theory and started bitching him out for failing him, or for essentially failing to win.
How dare you! You're supposed to be my protege! How dare you embarrass me by losing in front of all these people on the grandest stage of them all, Wrestlemania!
Oh, I should point out, I forgot to mention this earlier, at the beginning of Night 2 of WrestleMania, which was tonight, Triple H came out to the ring just long enough to place his boots, his wrestling boots, in the middle of the ring and leave. Because Triple H did announce a while back that he was retiring from in-ring competition. And tonight he did the time-honored tradition of placing his boots in the ring. Yeah. Vince McMahon, Mr. Never used to win a match at Mania. In any event, after that match, McAfee and I would like to point out that Pat McAfee came out to Seven Nation Army by White Stripes, I think? But yeah, no, he came out to Seven Nation Army. But after his match with Theory, he challenged Vince McMahon to a match, saying he wanted a two-piece. Keep in mind, Vince McMahon is 76 years old. Best way I could describe Vince McMahon in this match was the equivalent of when you watch an action movie that has like a crime boss who... Oh, he tried to go for a punt at one point, but Theory moved out of the way. Anyways, back to this. Best way I could describe Vince in his match with Pat McAfee is when you see an action movie that has like a distinct crime boss who is intimidating and just sits behind the desk for the whole fucking movie. And then at the climax, when he steps away from the desk, takes off the jacket, takes off the dress shirt, despite his age, he will whoop the shit out of the hero, at least for a while. That was Vince in this match. Pat McAfee looked like he might get some payback on Vince at one point, only to have Austin Theory pretty much give him a ball shot courtesy of the ring post. Anyways, Vince managed to pin McAfee. Yeah, he does. But Vince beat McAfee, and basically the match, like, McAfee versus Theory was basically one giant shit show because of Vince's victory, until you hear the glass shatter. The glass shatters, Stone Cold comes down to the ring, and he stunned Austin Theory, and then Vince McMahon, just like the first time he got hit with a stunner, botched the fucking stunner. You can ask Slim. It was the funniest goddamn thing. Vince got hit from the kick. Yes, Theory sold the stunner really fucking well in comparison to Vince, who, first, when he got kicked in the gut, he stumbled backwards into the ropes. Steve had to try and grab him like twice to hit him with the stunner, and by the end of it, Vince just fucking fell limp at the last fucking moment. And he sold the stunner so terribly. And the best part of it was that when Vince got hit with the stunner, he apparently fell out of his own damn shoe. Not always. Sometimes Vince can actually take the stunner well. But in this case, it was fucking horrible. And like I said, his fucking shoe fell off during the stunner. I didn't realize that at the time until Steve actually took the dress shoe and threw it up the ramp up at Vince. But anyways, so he's celebrating. He invites McAfee to come into the ring, have a drink with him. McAfee accepted, which was his first mistake. And Steve hits McAfee with a stunner, and I loved how McAfee took the stunner. Because he got hit with the stunner, and they did that slow fall, where he fell backwards, and there was just spurts of beer spewing from his mouth as he fucking did the slow fall. Yeah, it was fucking something. Steve saved that fucking match. I would say overall that match probably gets a 3 out of 5 just for Steve Austin alone. Because Vince, the best part of it was, after Steve left, McAfee just stayed on the floor drinking a beer. Only man smart enough to stay down after getting hit with a stunner. He rolled to the outside, grabbed another Steve Weiser, and was just drinking it, but he was smart enough to stay laying on his back when he was drinking the beer. That's a smart motherfucker right there. It's like, okay, I took a stunner, I ain't getting up and taking another. Fuck that. Then we get to the main event. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Championship unification match for the WWE Universal titles. Make this short and sweet because I've already been ranting and raving about WrestleMania weekend for about 2.5 hours. Roman defeated Lesnar. There was some trickery afoot, where Roman at one point hit Brock in the balls and hit him with the title. At one point in the match, it did look like Brock Lesnar dislocated Roman's shoulder with the Kimura lock, because he essentially, Roman went to hit him with the spear, Brock Lesnar took the spear just to lock in the Kimura lock. Obviously, Roman got to the ropes, so Brock had to break. But like I said, it did seem like Brock dislocated Roman's shoulder, whether that's just part of the act or whether Roman actually got injured. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But, Roman, it looked like Brock was going to win after that Kimura lock thing. And then Roman hit a spear, kind of out of nowhere, and won the match. So Roman has now unified the WWE and Universal titles. Not sure how long that'll last. Overall, that was a solid 3 out of 5 match, in my opinion. I do love the tribal chief, the head of the table, and we should all acknowledge him. Because I swear to all that is holy, in the dark days of WWE, the tribal chief, head of the table, acknowledge me gimmick is one of the few shining moments of WWE nowadays. So what did I think of WWE's WrestleMania? WrestleMania 38! What did I think of the weekend overall? Dude, he's not being force-fed. I'm tired of people using this force-fed excuse. Roman... How do I put this? Has Roman been force-fed down our throats at times? Yes, I will agree to that. But here's the thing. Roman is the heel. He's supposed to be annoying. Look. You can hate him for being the bastard that he is as a bad guy. You can hate him because of how long his title reign has been. But to say Roman has been force-fed down our throats is absurd. For the simple fact of, I can name off the top of my head at least 3 to 5 people that have been shoved down our throats a lot more. Like, oh, I don't know, Charlotte Flair? Charlotte Flair is almost always in the title picture. Plus, let's be honest, if Roman Reigns feels like he's been getting shoved down our throats so damn much, it's because there's no one on the SmackDown brand that is on Roman's level in terms of a decent quality babyface to go up against a monster heel like Roman. So that's why he feels like he's getting shoved down our throats all the time. He doesn't have a good face to go up against. That's the truth of the matter. What I'd like to see is Roman versus Drew McIntyre. That's what I want to see. And that's a match where I believe someone could actually take the belt from Roman. Because ever since they brought Drew to SmackDown, he's been too busy feuding with Corbin and Moss to have a proper shot at somebody like Roman. So, plus, who knows? If they actually do unify the titles, meaning the WWE Champion goes to both brands, that opens us up to a wide array of challengers for Roman. We could have Roman versus Lashley. Because Lashley is basically the good guy right now. Imagine how good of a match that could be. I'm looking at it from the perspective of, if you want, plus, keep in mind, Lashley probably has unfinished business with Roman because Lashley wanted to beat Lesnar on his own. He did not want help from fucking Roman Reigns just so Roman could push his own damn agenda. So you bet your ass the Almighty's going to want a piece of the head of the table. And that is going to be a match worth watching. I guarantee it. And outside of Lashley and Drew, I can't think of any other people that could probably take the belt off of Roman and be believable as somebody that could beat Roman. I would say Big E if Big E wasn't injured, but Yeah, no. I mean, maybe even Kofi. Oh no, they already had Roman squash Kofi. Never mind. Out of people that are actually there right now that are healthy, I would like to see Roman versus Drew McIntyre or Lashley. Because those are both credible threats that I could see potentially ending Roman's title reign. Yes, I would agree. A proper Roman versus Kofi match would be nice. If Seth Rollins was a good guy, I would say Seth. But sad fact of it is, with them both being bad guys, I don't see it. I would say Cody Rhodes, but he just came back, and I don't want to see Cody have a world title shot that fucking soon. Like, you gotta give Cody a chance to actually be back in the company for a few months before you push him for a WWE title run. But if that ever happens and we get Roman versus Cody, then hell yes, by all means, I want to see... Yeah, no, by all means. After some time has passed, you put Cody versus Roman, you take the belt off of Roman and give that shit to Cody Rhodes. Because if anybody deserved a world title run in WWE that's never gotten one before, it would be Cody Rhodes, damn it. Because even before he left 6 years ago, Cody was busting his ass, doing whatever WWE told him to, whether it was to be dashing Cody Rhodes, undashing Cody Rhodes, or Stardust. He busted his ass to get whatever they told him to do over. He even made a gimmick with his goddamn mustache work. So yes, after Cody's been back a while, please give him a shot at the title and please let him win the damn thing. Because if anybody deserves it, it's Cody. Overall, what do I think of the pay-per-view? Obviously, Slim and I have some conflicting thoughts on certain wrestlers. Me and Tim as well, I suppose. Overall, I have no complaints about the actual matches themselves. The actual matches were fucking amazing. Actual matches, well, with the exception of 2 or 3, were really fucking good. However, 2-hour kickoff, or 2-hour pre-shows, where all they do is fucking talk. Oh, I'm wrapping up, dude. So, by all means, head off to bed. As I was saying, with Mania weekend, the only issue I had was that the matches themselves, or not the matches, but 2-hour pre-shows that had nothing with the match, and commercials in between every match. That was my other main issue with WrestleMania weekend. Because I feel like it's fucking stupid. Like, you don't need to do commercials and promos and shit every fucking time. But, I don't know. That being said, okay, I haven't got that yet. That being said, that's been my viewpoints on Mania. Hope you guys enjoyed the ship. Well, enjoyed me essentially running at the mouth with verbal diarrhea with some For Honor gameplay in the background for like 2, almost 3 hours. And until next time, peace out.